All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Inquiries, where each week we review indie game store pages and provide marketing advice and critiques to help developers best sell their games. I am Josh Weiser from Game Wisdom, and joining me, my co-host from Nexus Games, soon to be a new title, Sharky.
Hello, everybody. Yep, still setting the new name.
All
It
right.
seems like the infinite loop.
Not the same as the loop we're going to be covering in a few minutes. But as we always say, if you're interested in getting your store page review or re-reviewed here on the show, please get in touch. We are always looking for submissions, and you'll find links to everything in our respective descriptions.
And also be sure to click the smash button and smash the like button on both Josh's and my channel. And join our Discords. Links to all of that is down below in both of our videos.
All right. So, are you ready to begin this week's show?
Well, thing that I know the results already. I don't know if I'm ready for that, but let's just go with yes.
All right. Well, with that said, let's begin. So, we are starting with Loopmancer. Now, the two games for this week were not submissions. These were two that kind of caught our eyes for different reasons. And we're beginning with the game that, oh, we have a thumbnail that, well, tells us it's some kind of Japanese or, Asian country inspired game, but not much else.
Yeah, it's very unclear to what this game even is.
hmm The title or the description here is a 3D platformer roguelite action game with realistic graphics in a cyberpunk universe. That's not really conveyed by that thumbnail. And as we say, the thumbnail and the trailer are the two most important parts. And I don't see this attracting people.
Yeah, I mean it's an attractive looking thumbnail, but there's no structure. there's no anything besides a attractive looking thumbnail that isn't bright and catches the eye or anything. It's not eye catching. It's attractive, but it's not eye catching. And
Mhm.
the font's clearly readable. I mean, that's kind of the only things it's got going for it.
Yep. And the point of the thumbnail is that it's gotta hook you. It's gotta get you interested in actually clicking on anything else. Because
Hmm.
if it doesn't, then people aren't going to check out your game.
Yep. And people who don't check out your game rip everything else on your store page.
Oh yes. And as we're going to as you've been probably seeing the screenshots, kind of a slideshow around on the left there, that there is like some very bright colors. There's some distinction there that we're not getting across to that thumbnail. Like the very first screenshot with like this very elaborate, looks like a marketplace of some kind. Like that background is very eye popping, and that could have been used, I think, a lot better. Not perfectly for this thumbnail, but at least it would have stood out more.
Yeah, it would have had more things going for it than it has now.
Yeah. So grade wise, this is a kind of a tough one. That it's not bad as in oh my god, my eyes are bleeding looking at it, but it's not catching. It's kind of just like
It's
a
not doing its
step.
job.
Yeah, it's just like a step above some of like the most annoying ones that I have seen. Again, for those of you who watch, when I look on sites like Keymailer and press related stuff, I have seen some nightmarish thumbnails. And hey, Smoke, and this one fortunately doesn't get there. But in the same token, why should I click on this? And there's not really an answer.
Yeah.
So, grade wise, what are you thinking?
This is this has got to be a D plus.
Yeah. Like, I don't like if it was bad, like offensively bad, it would be an easy F.
Yeah,
But,
but it's not offensive. It's just because I mean it looks good. It just
mhm,
doesn't do its job. You know,
yeah.
it's like a pretty girl at the counter that doesn't know how to do her job. You're like, I'd like to order a pizza. What's a pizza? You know,
Hmm.
it's a thing you sell. Oh, we sell
Yeah.
pizzas? Yes, you sell
And,
pizzas, you know? That's what
yeah,
this
and like
thumbnail is.
I was hovering between like D plus and C minus, and I just don't think it does enough to like get into the C range, even a low C.
Yeah,
So I think it gets a D plus for me too.
yeah,
All right. So are you ready for trailer number one?
yeah. And we're not going to watch the other trailers. I mean, we already did off stream, and they're pretty much
Just
mostly the
gameplay.
same.
Yeah. All right. Are
Uh,
you ready?
is Steam ready? I think I've got Steam ready now.
All right. Starting up.
Okay.
So this game really likes establishing shots,
Yep.
as
And
you're
it
going to
doesn't like
see.
cold openings.
Mhm. And it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which is also too long.
You
Yep.
may not know me yet.
Way too long.
I want to play a game
And
with
it's certainly dragging on.
Yeah. Like the footage, like the character animations and their models, like something is very off about them.
Yeah, they feel very stiff or, forced or something like that.
Yeah. Like when you see characters move, it looks like a PlayStation 3 action game.
It might even be worse than that. I mean, but when you see
Could
them moving
be.
the cutscenes, they look smooth.
Yeah, but
But
they
when
also
they're
look very
in
like
game,
stilted.
they don't.
Yeah. Like before when he kicks him into the oncoming car was kind of neat.
Yeah,
But I really don't like this UI. Like there's a lot of like little things on the screen.
and now they're
you. No
giving
sudden
us
death.
what looked like a
Part of the plan.
call to action, but it wasn't. It was just telling us what engines and whatnot they were running, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
Why is that in there? Why does anybody care?
yeah. The music is not matching the gameplay.
Yeah, it is not. And I need to turn my music up. Speaking of which,
And like, it just looks. Oh, and now we have some
Trying so hard.
bad
spongy
gore.
blood.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna rip off your arm, and here's this little band-aid of stuff that meat that's coming off. It looked so like, I mean, that looked like worse than what like Resident Evil did on PlayStation 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When
and
it comes
like,
to gore.
it really is giving me the same vibe as Metal Gear Revengeance, which was a PlayStation 3 title done by Platinum Games. And there's no call to action at the end.
Nope, there's just a call to the name.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's the name of the game. That's all you need to know, right? You don't need to
Yeah.
know if it's on Steam. You don't need to know what platforms it is. You don't need to know if it's on consoles.
Yeah. And
Nothing you
like,
need to know
to
there.
Smoke's comment, yeah, like we have two other trailers that they're just all gameplay. Like there's no real structure to them.
And it's the same gameplay that's in this one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's basically where they went through and they captured footage, and then they decided, let's redo that into another trailer. We won't go capture new footage. We'll just use the footage we already have, make a new trailer. Ah, that's better, but I don't
But
like it still. Let's do another new trailer. Still not going to capture new footage, and
mhm,
that's the trailer we just watched.
yeah. It feels like a lot of this page was rushed for like the PAX event and kind of like the festivals that we just had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the trailer itself, like the problem with it is that nothing about this is like screaming confidence about this game.
No, there's no structure to it. There's no. It felt
It's
like
got
almost like random gameplay footage, but
and
it wasn't quite random gameplay footage because it felt like they were trimmed at least to a
mhm,
good spec, but it was pretty close to feeling like random gameplay footage.
yeah, like the gameplay actually in the game could be solid, but again, we don't rate trailers on what the actual game is. We rate them on what we see in the trailer.
But if we were to go off the trailer and try to make that assumption kind of thing, I would assume that they might not be because those animations were looking really stilted
Hmm.
and
Nothing
whatnot.
about this conveys roguelite either.
Yeah,
There's no like showing of those systems, no showing of anything that would be considered like that.
yeah, they needed
And
to show some menus, some UI stuff that shows what you're doing.
actually show like the same level but differently, using the procedural generation or random generation. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it just is just not really working as a trailer. Like this would definitely be like a third or fourth string trailer on the store page. This is not a good primary trailer.
I wouldn't even say this would be a good secondary, thirdary trailer. Just, I mean, it would be
It's just
better
footage.
as a third or fourth, but,
Hmm.
that would be assuming they would have a better trailer. And at which point, at the front, at which point I would say get rid of this trailer. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, but this is a really solid example. Oh, they do show a little bit of those differences in the second trailer for like only like 5 seconds of like a split screen of two different parts of the same level. But this is just a really good example of graphics over aesthetics. That nothing really looks like it's standing out.
Yeah.
So grade wise, it's not bad because, it looks horrible, the trailer's obnoxious. But again, the point of the trailer and the point of the thumbnail is that it's supposed to sell you on this game, so to make you want to learn more about it.
Yeah, and there's nothing here that does that. No structure. It all feels like just random clips. Nothing tells
Too
me what the
long.
real gameplay loop is, kind of thing. Nothing. There's no real substance here. It's just
Hmm. It's
random
noise.
clips
Hmm.
of
Like
gameplay and
the
cutscenes.
s- the second one is just slightly better because at least they show a little bit of the differences, but it's not your primary trailer. And most people aren't going to be watching all three trailers.
And they're definitely not if your first trailer does not sell good enough.
Hmm.
And this one definitely is not. So what do we think of her grade on this?
This is a tough one. That it's bad, but it's not bad for some of the usual reasons that we usually grade these trailers on.
Yeah,
Mm. Like, I'm thinking in the F range.
yeah. I'm thinking solid F because
Yeah.
there's just nothing here. I mean,
Mhm.
I I
Like it.
could I could just take and make a bunch of random gifs about a game, and I
Hmm.
mean random gifs, not like, planned out, this is something cool to show off. I could literally make a bunch of random gifs that are not and idle animations kind of thing and just throw them together with a random song from the soundtrack
And be done.
and it might be a better trailer than this.
Yeah. Like, I was kind of touch and go on maybe giving it an F plus just because of the second trailer, but again, the problem is that most people aren't going to be clicking on all three of these trailers.
Yeah.
And the third trailer even shows work in progress, which you don't want that on your trailers. You don't want anything that dates your game in terms of its development.
Yeah, I mean the only reason why somebody would click on a second trailer is if the first trailer got at least a C at a
Hmm.
bare minimum, and then
Or
it would be like really pushing it, I think.
yeah, or if it was actually legitimately like different trailers that cover different parts of your game. Like this is the roguelike trailer. This is the action part of my trailer. This is the story trailer.
Even
But
with that, they still wouldn't click on it if the
mhm,
first trailer did not hook them enough to click on it.
yeah,
And I think it would have to be at least in the C range to have any realistic chance of hooking somebody to go into other trailers.
yeah, just
And
like
even at C range, I think you're only going to get a very very small percentage of people.
yeah,
Like probably sub 1% kind of thing, clicking on the second
yeah.
trailer.
Hmm. And to Smoke's comment, is it good to have more than one trailer? It really depends on the game itself. You do need one really solid trailer. I think for a lot of indie developers, one is going to be your limit in that respect. Now, if your game is complicated enough, or you can legitimately do like different things with your trailers, show completely different aspects of your game in trailer one and trailer two and so on, you can do that. But I think it's ultimately more important to have one, knock it out of the park trailer than have like three or four just okay ones.
Yeah. Let me interject and tell you the reason why I'm going to have multiple trailers on my store page with Neon Continuum is I'm going to have a knock it out of the park S plus trailer, right? But it's only going to be 29 seconds long. So there's not going to be a whole lot shown in
Hmm.
that trailer, but that trailer will convey story. It'll convey, it'll show some nice polished cutscenes. It'll show some nice polished gameplay. It'll at least somewhat convey the core gameplay loop. You'll know that it's a grid-based card game. You probably won't know how to play it because it's very, very different than, other card games.
Mhm.
And because of the limited time and, all the polish and everything, like, and the amount of stuff that it will actually take to tell somebody this other information, it's not going to all fit in that trailer. So we're going to have a second trailer that has that information in it and goes in, and I'm going to try to make that as good as possible without having so much levels of polish. I will probably put some polish in there, but like have a
Mhm.
good structure, this is how the game actually works kind of thing,
Yeah.
kind of trailer and
Right.
stuff like that. But like the point is that the only people that are going to click on that trailer is the people that were sold by that first trailer but still want
Mhm.
to see more.
Yeah.
And they may want to see more because they've already wish listed it but haven't, the game's not out yet, or
Mhm.
maybe they're not sold on wish listing it yet because it's like, okay, this is their best stuff, but what else do they have? Or I
Yeah.
don't understand what's going on here, so they'll go to the next one. And
Mhm.
it's a secondary by necessity because we need
Yeah.
to explain that other stuff. But like,
Mhm.
I'm not planning on making that a long trailer either. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And to Dev Journey's comment about three short are greater than one long. Yeah, you want to keep your trailers as long as you need them to be, but you still want them to be on the shorter side. Again, we say that the primary trailer should be no more than 90 seconds, and that is if you have 90 seconds of, things you can actually legitimately show people and keep it new and exciting.
Yeah,
So the grade,
for the trailer.
yeah.
We I think we already did that.
And just, again, I was thinking about an F plus, but I think I'm just,
Solid F.
yeah, it's just not enough to move it up.
Yeah.
So let's get to these screenshots. And one thing that I noticed about a lot of them, they're very blurry. Like if you look at some of these, they're just like with exception of the establishing shots. Like there's just a lot of like blur. Like it's kind of hard to make out the background.
And they're also very small.
Yeah. Like this first one, like if it was zoomed in a little bit more, this would be the perfect thumbnail, or at least far better in terms of catching your eye than what's there. But it's just very weird. Like the second one was definitely not in the trailer, but I'm pretty sure everything else was in some way, shape, or form.
I think the second one was in the trailer.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure all of these were in the trailer.
Let's see. Hmm. I say wants to play a game. Now they had like the red background, but not that exact point. Again, lots of establishing shots. And, but regardless, it has 9 screenshots, and almost every one of them is in the trailer.
If
The
not all
final
of them.
one is literally the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So
So,
they don't meet the requirements in terms of 5 original screenshots.
yeah. So, they have zero original screenshots. So we're giving them I say an F minus.
Yeah, it's an F minus on that one. And yeah, again, this is not going off well for a game that it looks like they put a lot of time into the look of it,
Yeah.
but you're not conveying to me what this game is,
Yep.
other than generic 3D. Actually, I'm even debating why is this a 3D platform? Everything's shown as side scrolling.
Yeah. It's not a 3D platformer.
It could be 2.5D, but that doesn't look like it.
It
Okay
may be
then.
2.5D.
So let's get the about this game. So we have Amelia follow us for Discord and Twitter. The Twitter that's here is not even active anymore. It's been turned off.
Yeah, it's been deleted.
So
And
that is
also, this
not
is
a good
not part of the
sign.
about this game page. This is before it, but
Yeah.
and
And
it's
you
not
want the
polished. It's just broad links,
yeah.
and one of
And
them's deleted.
you want the Discord in the title card as well.
Yep, which it's clearly not, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
On to the
so
about this game page.
this is a weird one in terms of what we're seeing.
Yeah,
Like they're
all
using
these
the
GIFs basically
yeah,
are in the trailer. So
yep.
I think there might be one of these GIFs, the second one, that is not in the trailer.
I think this was in the third. No, that establishing shot of like the kind of spire was in the opening of the first trailer.
Oh, was it? So they're all in
Yeah,
that trailer.
yeah. But what is very weird is that it says here, this is underlined, investigating the disappearance of a famous female journalist, and then the three lines later, the disappearance of a famous female journalist. Like, why is this underlined twice?
Yeah,
Like,
it
it,
it makes me think that somebody came in here and be like, "Oh, you got this line in here twice. Let me just underline it so you can spotlight it and then correct it later." And then nobody came in here and corrected it.
I think it's supposed to establish like the looping nature of the game, but it is not done well at all. Like, and this is kind of the overall problem for this page. Nothing is conveying to me roguelite.
Yeah,
Like, you can look at like a page for Hades or Dead Cells or Biome Isaac or Slay the Spire, any other game that has roguelike and roguelite elements to it, and it conveys it with how the game is presented.
yeah.
This is not doing that. And to Dev's comment, why screenshots need to be original? Well, one thing is they're also there to give the consumer confidence that there's more to your game. You don't want to show them the exact same things because then it just looks like your game is smaller than it needs to be. And another point is that when you're doing your trailer, you oftentimes don't want to show UI element. You want to zoom in on the footage. You want to edit compared to your main game, and the screenshots are a way to actually show people what does your game actually look like in game, and it's really just more about building up that confidence.
And it's also about, if the trailer did not sell them enough, which is more than likely if they're going to the screenshots, then if the screenshots are the same as the trailer, that's also not going to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're to that point, they're probably going to click off at the page at that point.
Yeah,
So you need the screenshots to sell them on different stuff that your trailer did not.
yeah,
Just
and
like you need your GIFs and everything down here in your About This Game page to sell on different things than what either one of those did. You want all three of them to be
mhm,
different.
yeah,
And now reusing a couple things can be all right as long as they are key things.
like a crazy boss fight, uh, something that's actually showing off a system of your game,
Yeah, stuff like
and
that. But like you want to keep that to a bare minimum. If you can
yeah,
avoid it at all possible, avoid it. But if you can't, then that would be the acceptable things to repeat.
yeah,
But you want to again keep it to a very, very bare minimum, which means that if you have a smaller game, that means you probably want a shorter trailer so that you have more different things to show off in the GIFs and in the screenshots.
yeah. But getting back to Loopmancer here, that nothing here is really showing me anything new.
Yeah, it's
And the
all the same
looping
GIFs.
is like the looping on the third one is just very off. It's like the one we saw from Seven Fate last week.
Yeah,
And the problem is, as an action game fan, I'm not seeing excitement here. I'm not seeing why I should care about this game. The fast-paced battle action, you're telling about unlocking new weapons, new abilities, unlock over 100 weapons, but you're showing me the exact same footage that was in the trailer.
Yep, and nothing about unlocking anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about skills, nothing about tech, nothing about prosthetic limbs. You're just showing me generic combat.
Yeah. And as a point of comparison, I just want to quickly check out the Dead Cells store page for a second because I just want to see what they did. And like in the Dead Cells one, they're showing gifts, and each gift purposely has a different weapon in it. So you're seeing that there is variety to what's going on in it.
Yeah.
And
You
they're also zoomed in. They're definitely better than what we saw in Loopmancer.
yeah, you always want to be showing off different content on your store page because if you're showing off the same thing, if that the thing is people go down, in the page in basically a certain order. And basically if they bypass one section and they didn't wish list your game and then you show the same thing, they aren't going to be sold to hit the wish list button again. It's like
Yeah.
it's
And
like it's
again,
like a used car salesman. If he comes up to you and says, "Hey, this baby's got 15 miles on it. Do you want to buy it?" No. Why would I
mm,
buy it based off of that one thing? Well, this
yeah.
baby has 15 miles on it. Would you like to buy it?
Oh, yeah.
No. I already said no
And
to that. Well, this baby has
and
15 miles on it. Would you like to buy it?
mhm,
And that's what your store page is doing if it's just the same stuff over and over again.
yeah. And again, the goal of your store page is that the title card has to hook them. Then, if the title card gets them to click on the page, and they're going to click on the trailer.
Well, that's if they're
If it,
coming from Steam.
yeah,
If they're coming from Steam, the thumbnail has to hook them. If they are not coming from Steam, then the thumbnail's pretty much null and void.
yeah, but you
But
need to make sure everything is working on the store page because you don't know where people are going to be coming from.
yeah, more than likely, if you're small, a lot of people, a large percentage of your people will probably be coming from Steam.
Hmm.
So your thumbnail is the second most important thing. Now, what everybody's going to see, and what is, excuse me, the most important is the trailer.
Hmm. But to bring this back to the game, that again, like we have this, like the amount of text in between each section is good. You want maybe at
Except for the
most
first section
4 to 5 lines. Yeah,
where it has
but
two paragraphs.
there's nothing that's really showing me what they're talking about. Face over 30 enemies, I'm not seeing that. This is the same footage from the trailer. The
Mm-hmm.
part where it says certain areas will change at random, I am not seeing that in that GIF. And here's the point: they have a part in the second trailer where they're showing the split screen of the level being different. So they could have at least taken that and put it here.
Yeah, but that still wouldn't have been good because, again, you don't want to duplicate your content.
Yeah,
But that would have
but
been
at least would have
better
been
than what they
better.
have now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all just, here's some stuff telling you about the game, and here's a random GIF with no context.
Yep.
It's like, wouldn't you like to go see the beach? I can sell you the beach. I can sell you this
Mhm.
location on the beach, and then you just show them a random picture in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And then you're
And
like, would you like to go to the mall close to the beach, and then you show them, a convenience store in Colorado.
yeah,
It's
but we're
just
getting a little bit off
no
topic here
context.
with the analogies. Yeah, and again, like as somebody who plays action games, nothing is selling me on this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very big problem. So, grade wise, like it's definitely not in the C range. I don't get consider this to be like I see this like borderline FD range for me.
Yeah, I
And
I think I'm gonna go with D minus
mhm.
because this is just really not good.
It's got style, but no substance.
Yeah, exactly. And no context either.
Hmm. And I think I will have to give it an F plus because nothing
Understandable.
about this is making me want to play this as an action game. Like maybe 10 years ago, this could be something a little bit more interesting, but we've seen so much in terms of these kinds of designs. And like as another quick aside, I just want to check out what the Hades store page looks like.
So you're going on a tangent now?
Yeah. And again, far better in terms of what they're showing. Not the best store page, but at least it's showing a lot more variety. Like the very first GIF on the Hades page beats every GIF on the Loopmancer page.
Yep. I mean, you might as well consider the Loopmancer page has no GIFs because
Hmm.
they're all the same. Just like we
Yep.
consider it have no screenshots because they're all the same.
Yep.
If they're all
So
the same, then you don't
let's
have
go.
any.
Let's go to the title card. So off the bat, though, it does have all the genre tags. It
Yeah,
has
it's
all the
got
important ones.
yeah. It could have had single player on top of this, but we grade this based off of a three tag system, and
Hmm.
basically there we look for one good tag and two
Yep.
freebies normally, which would be like good tags would be example of action, adventure, RPG, which just has three good tags, and the
Hmm.
freebies would be indie, single player, multiplayer.
Where, yeah, early access of the game was in early
Yeah,
access, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, so
but we
this is
always
both.
want to see at least three, one good one
Hmm.
and two others. This
This
one
is
has
how,
three good ones and one, give me.
yeah, because this is how the algorithm is going to promote your game. And the fact that they have action and RPG, that's going to get it to like anyone who's played a Dead Cells, anyone who's played Devil May Cry. Uh, Again, there's so many action games, my brain is like struggling to remember them all.
Call of
And
Duty.
yeah, so the Twitter is working, like it goes to the correct one, but I don't remember. I don't think they allow you to message them from it.
No, you said they didn't.
Yeah, YouTube is a channel that just has the same three trailers, so it's not really active.
Yeah, it's not an active
Again,
YouTube channel. There's no
you
Discord on here.
and again, the follow us does not count for the title card. It needs to be right over here.
Yeah, and also
So
the considering that the follow us, the link to the Twitter is broken.
yeah.
Makes it worse.
So again, this page just really screams of being rushed. And I do wonder if like this is just supposed to be like a placeholder page for when the game is like officially announced and they're going to redo it. But be that case, this is still publicly on Steam right now. People are able to see it.
Yeah. Uh, Dev said that he heard that the tags were a waste of space. No, they are absolutely not.
We saw the indie tag specifically.
Oh, the
Yeah,
indie tag is not a waste of space, but it is fairly useless. But
it's
fairly
padding.
useless is not useless.
Yeah.
It's the fact is that if you can get 1% more eyes on your game,
Hmm.
is not very much. It's fairly useless. But 1% more eyes is
Hmm.
potentially 1% more sales, so that's not
It,
useless.
it's it's just padding for your page. Again, single player, multiplayer, indie, and early access. Those four are kind of the gimmies when
Yeah,
they're applicable.
yeah,
What you want are actual genre definitions, action, adventure, strategy, shooter, um, RPG, roguelike, things that really nail what your game is and what is going to be the fan base. Because again, this is how Steam is going to start suggesting games.
yeah.
If I scroll down here, if
But
we look at them,
you do want every tag that you can possibly get
yeah,
because even if it's not a great tag, it'll still improve. Now, what you don't want to put in here is tags that do not apply to your game, because that'll bring people who are not interested in your game over to your store page, at which point they may buy it and thinking that it's something that it's not, and then give you a negative review because of that. So you want every tag that is possibly, you know, substance to your actual game
Yeah.
listed.
And
If it's an indie game, put indie game. If it's a single player game, put single player game. You know, indie and single player and all that stuff is pretty useless, but it's not useless.
yeah,
And
and
you can use
like
every advantage that you can get.
yeah, and you can have more than 5 tags. Nothing is stopping you from doing that.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you can have like we look at the categories on Steam, you can see the variety of them, and you definitely want to include these in as well. Again, when they fit your game. And let's see,
Well,
like
this has nothing to do with the player tags.
yeah,
The
this is
player
more
tags
about
and such are up here. You know, like Metrovania 3D platformer hack and slash. These are things that you cannot select down here.
yeah,
With
you want the stuff
these,
like the categories. Like if you click over here, like puzzle, adventure, racing, dating, visual novel, storage.
not even all of these under categories are selectable in that one section.
Hmm.
I think there's only like 20 possible tags for this bottom section for the title card. There
Hmm.
are very few tags that actually work down here. But when you're a developer filling out your page, you fill out this section at the same time as you fill out this section here.
Hmm.
But then users can add more to this. And, you know, that's the bad thing about Steam is their tags are completely screwed, you know?
Yeah, like if you click on one of those tags and you go to the narrow by tag part on the right here, like these are the major tags that's on Steam right now. So stuff like indie, single player, 2D, adventure, casual, shooter, multiplayer, atmospheric, arcade, simulation, strategy.
Where'd you
Now
see
there are
that?
more tags. If you click on action and you scroll down, it shows you what are some of the other tags that you can narrow things down by. So these are the ones that are the most popular, some of the ones that are the biggest ones.
Oh, the nearby tag, yeah.
Hmm. So if your game fits one of these, put it on there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why they don't have this as a 2D game because I'm not seeing the 3D elements of it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the tags up here, the user defined tags, that's what your fans and other people are marking your game as. The tags down here on your title card, that's what you as a developer are
Well,
categorizing your
the
game as.
the the developer also does the user tags too.
Okay.
You when you fill out your tags, it fills into both of them at the same time.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Because like, you know, like I selected like dark story and all this other stuff on my when I was filling out my tags, and it didn't pop up down here. It only popped
Yeah.
up here in user tags.
Hmm.
So it's weird. Steam's tag system is really screwed up, you
Yeah.
know, and really horrible. But that is what we have to deal with. So
And you
like
gotta jump through those hoops.
when I filled out all these things here, a lot of them came up here. Only a few came down here because there's only a few that actually applied down here. And these are down here are the most important.
Yeah. But to get back to the grade, because we kind of got off topic there. So it's got the tags, but it's missing the contact information.
Yeah, it's
So
the Twitter can't contact, the YouTube doesn't have any content, and there is no Discord.
yeah, again, Discord, while it's good that it's over here, it needs to be over here as well.
Yeah, it
Because you
doesn't
want your
count if it's over
information to be
there.
compartmentalized. So grade wise, definitely not in the B range because it's missing the important contact links.
Yeah,
But it does have good tags.
yeah.
So
That's
it,
mainly all it has.
yeah.
but it's not completely void on the other stuff. It's just very
Needs
not
to be
good on the other
better.
stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
think I'm gonna give it a C minus.
yeah, I'm kind of hovering between C minus C myself. Yeah.
I
I
just
think
don't
if
think
it
it strikes that average.
yeah,
I think it's
it's
below average.
if the Twitter had messaging on it, I think easy C, maybe even a C plus, just because of doing that part right. But this is
Or if the
essentially
YouTube had, you know, active content being made for it.
yeah, yeah. I feel it's
Or if
just
they had a
below
Discord.
average, so I
Yeah.
think I'll give it a C minus too. So the fun part, the overall grade.
Yeah, this
So
is not going to be pretty because the trailer is a vast part of your grade. You know, your trailer grade is only going to be affected by 3 grades higher, 3 grades lower for your total
and
grade. So since it's a F for the trailer grade, it could be like a whatever is below an F minus,
some grade we haven't invented yet.
yeah, or
Or
it could be all the way up to a D.
yeah.
You know,
So
so it's not going to come out of this good, you know,
mhm.
because the trailer
So
really
we
screwed things
gave
up.
the thumbnail a D plus, so
So
that
that
would,
will bring it up.
but not really by a lot. Like when we're talking about bumping things up by multiple grades, like safely you should be like high B, low A if you wanted to like really see a bump here.
Yeah, if
And
everything else was S, it would only upgrade it to from F to D.
yeah,
So that would upgrade it. You know, it would first go to F plus, then a D minus, and then a
yeah,
D.
and everything else we gave the screenshots in F, we gave the
F, no, we gave it
screenshots
an
like
F minus, so that's actually dragging the trailer
yeah.
down.
The title or the about this game, I was in F plus, you were a D minus,
Yep, which is
and
going to
the
basically hold it.
only the only quote unquote high point was the title card, which got a C minus.
Which is the lowest factor in the grade.
Yeah, and even then would not be enough to kind of circumvent the Fs and the Ds.
Yeah,
So like, I don't see this page moving.
yeah. I think this overall grade is the same as the trailer grade, an
Yeah,
F.
and it's not the worst grade, but it's really damn close.
Yep.
And again, like this is what we talk about in terms of both structure and aesthetics. That this page on first glance, it looks really good. It looks like a lot of production value was put into it.
Hmm.
None of that is really conveyed in selling somebody on this game. And
What's weird is we see pages that look far worse than this, but they grade far higher because did things more right. Now then,
Mhm.
keep in mind that we're judging based off of what the store page did, and not the game itself, not the
yeah,
game aesthetics, none of that. So that means that this game, based off of its aesthetic, could sell better
mhm.
than a game with worse aesthetics
And a really
that
good
had a better
demo
score.
could do a lot to alleviate the concerns of this game. But it's that same problem. You're going to convince somebody to download the demo when your thumbnail, your trailer, and your screenshots, and even your About This Game page aren't doing that job.
Yep,
And
because
that's a
time is money, and they got to download
very
it and take the
tall
time to play it.
order. Yep. That is a huge order to ask of your demo.
Hmm.
So I think with that, I think that's all I really want to say about Loopmancer. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised it didn't score better.
Yeah. And that is going to, I think, be a theme for our next game. So
Yeah,
let us
ironically.
switch over. Yeah. But for different reasons.
Yep.
All right. We are over here for our second game this week, and that is Firegirl. Yep.
Yep. There's many
So,
bad publishers out there, and
mm,
you got to be careful. That's the reason why I self-publish.
yep. and why you have to be really careful along those lines.
And
But
I one day want to, start publishing for other people.
mhm,
But I'm not, you know, like a good store page is one of the key parts of marketing. It is the keyest part of marketing is your trailer.
yeah,
But, I just don't feel like I'm in a place yet to be able to offer realistic marketing
hmm
or publishing services.
yeah. So let's get to our next game. This is Firegirl, and let's begin with the title card. Well, my allergies are just really bothering me as well.
So the title card, I mean, this font is fire. Let's be honest. This
Mhm.
font they got for the title, that's fire. Both
Yeah.
figuratively and literally, it's fire.
Yeah, and I like how the actual fire trails within the letters themselves.
Yep.
So it's not just like a generic, here's some fire orange that just covers the entire font.
Yep. It's flickering off like real flames would.
Yeah,
And also they have the like ash gray looking outline around it where, like the wood or whatever that they set on fire has burnt and decayed.
yeah, and
Really love that font. That font is amazing. They
yeah,
could not
and
have gone better with that. That is A
it,
plus for that part of that.
yeah, it's very eye catching as well. Like we compare and contrast this with Loopmancer. For those of you watching this recorded, go watch that part. This is just a very generic thumbnail. There's just nothing to it that's going to catch your eye. Whereas Fire Girl right here, like your eye, if you're scrolling down the store page, you know, it's immediately going to hook you with this font.
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah,
color. And color
yeah,
has a lot to do with hooking your eye.
yeah. Now, with that said, the bottom part of this thumbnail is not as good.
Yeah.
It
I
everything
think
just kind
the
of blurs together.
I think the buildings themselves look good, but they're copy and pasted with no like modification. Like this building
Yeah.
is the exact same as this building. They could have easily just spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
hmm
and like cut out some of these lights and then put in some other lights. And mind you, this is pixel art, so they could have. There's only a few buildings here, so they could have done that in like five,
Yeah.
10 minutes worth of work. They could have made every one of these buildings different, just slightly. They could have also like added a little pixel art smokestack to some of these, and made them look different.
Something to like remove that monotony
Yeah,
of like the skyline.
and they could also do like different heights. I mean, they did slightly different heights here, but like it's so
Yeah.
meaningless. Like you don't even notice that it's a different height.
Yeah.
They all look identical. You have to really look hard and be like, yeah, this line does not line up perfectly with that. There's like another half floor on this one.
Yeah, and they're missing in the opportunity in terms of the structure as well.
Yeah.
Because the bottom is not really guiding your eyes to the top. Like, if you look at these flames that are along the bottom of the screen, they're not like it would have been interesting. They could all be kind of pointing in a way towards the title card. Or
Or
I'm sorry, to the title. They're
or at
kind
least
of
a
doing it over
majority of
here.
them.
But
But
like they could have done it on the right hand side as well.
yeah, you really want this, a triangle effect to point towards your title, and this does not have any kind of structure like that. You could do the
Yeah.
same thing with the buildings. I mean, they could have, instead of putting, buildings all at the same level here, they could have built a triangle out of buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where,
like
like there's
lead
the
your
highest
eye.
point in the middle, lowest
hmm
on the outsides, and it would have looked more like a city, to be honest, that way too.
hmm
That you have this variation on the sky silhouette
hmm
of your
Yeah,
your city kind of thing,
yeah,
and
and
it doesn't have that. It just it's good art, but there's no
but
variation. There's no structure here. It just
yeah,
it comes off as a cheap copy and paste
yeah,
job, and it's
but
just
uh,
not structure wise there.
with that said, the look of it though does stand out.
Yeah,
Again, the
absolutely.
role of your title card, or I'm sorry, the role of your thumbnail is it get eyes on it. And this one succeeds in that front. Whereas Loopmancer, while it looks genuinely good, like it looks like something very interesting, it's not distinctive enough. It's not getting people to click on it.
Right.
And this one I think would. So
And also
great.
the black smoke behind the Firegirl, at least the top half of it, top 3/4, really makes the Firegirl font stand out even more. So,
So
like the issues I see here is the genericness of the city, you know, because they didn't put any variation, and the lack of structure. But
yeah,
I think every other part of this thumbnail is on point.
yeah. So the grade, like, despite our praise, it doesn't do enough, I think, to get into the A range.
No,
I
absolutely not.
don't feel like it does enough wrong to get into the C range.
No, this is definitely B range.
Yeah. It just depends where.
I'm going to say B minus.
I will go higher and say just solid B. I think B plus is just too high for it.
Yeah. If they did some simple changes, like made some variations in these real variations in these buildings and reshape the skyline here and
Easy B plus A minus possible.
and if they added some structure in the process of that, this would have been an easy A.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and they could have with 10 more minutes worth of work.
Yep.
And that's really sad.
Are you ready for the trailer?
Yes, as long as Steam is ready. It's not ready. Okay.
All right,
I am ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So you have a kind of a cold opening, very slightly. I like the picture-in-picture.
I wouldn't say that's a cold opening, but
it's better than the last one.
Yes.
I really like the transitions they do.
Yeah, there's really good transitions. I'm noticing some of the art does not, like the items and the characters do not really match the background, even though all of it is pixel art.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think, because of lighting.
Yeah. I think it does have an interesting look to it.
Oh yeah, it definitely has an interesting look to it, but it just doesn't. It has that mismatch kind of thing to it, aspect to it,
Yeah.
which I think is really going to hurt it.
Yeah.
By how much, I don't know, because it does look good in both parts.
Yeah. The style reminds me a little bit of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I do like the establishing shot at the end for the call to action.
Yeah. And the call to action says that it's Wishlist on Steam, coming to PC and consoles. Well, where else is it coming to? Which consoles?
Could be to all of them.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
It could be just PlayStation. Could be just Switch. It could be anything. That's not good. You need to tell us where it's going to exactly. Because if you don't, then we don't know where to look for it, other than consoles. I mean, they did tell us it's on Steam at least, so that's good points for them on that call to action. But they should have told us specific on other places too. They also said PC, so that means places other than Steam. But which places other than Steam?
GOG, Humble, Epic, so on and so forth. The game was this one has the Epic Mega Grant, so I'm going to guess it's going to be on Epic.
Probably.
And so what they're showing, I think, is good. There's a lot of things that kind of eye-catching. It's showing off the gameplay, but there's still no structure to this.
It's just
you're getting some frame in terms of upgrade, rescue, be the hero, but that's more gameplay structure, not trailer structure. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, trailer structure, you need a cold opening followed by intro, which is going to be slower. Your call to action is going to be action-packed or funny. And then you have a building in the middle, and then you have a climax at the end. And There was no climax. There was no build. There was no intro. It was just quips, almost randomly placed inside here. Now they were all good quips that would have been good to, you know, mix around and get some structure. I don't. There wasn't no climax in there at all. Anything that
Yeah,
could be used for a climax. There was no boss fights or anything like that. There's also nothing to use for a code opening because again, there was no boss fights or anything like super exciting in there. But I
I
mean,
would
they
have.
could have arranged things to get far better structure out of this.
Mhm. I would have liked to have seen like if they don't have like a action pack finale, maybe me just like a post call action stinger of something funny, or something like a little like off the wall, something to just like tie a ribbon around this whole thing,
Yeah.
and I just don't see it like here
But
with
they
that.
they
Like,
should have had something to do for a climax,
yeah,
even
something
if there's not a boss fight, a fire gets out of control and a building just completely explodes,
explosion.
that would
Yeah,
have been a great climax,
yeah.
and then you could, even do a stinger like after that, of people crying that they lost everything kind of thing.
So
There's a lot of things they could have done,
yeah.
but they didn't.
So the grade. And I don't know, like it's definitely better than Loopmancer. Like this certainly
Was better.
conveys what this game is going to be.
Yeah.
So the question, like to me, is where does it fall? Like it's definitely not A range, absolutely not.
No.
I feel
And it's
like,
not D range either.
yeah,
It's I think it's in that border of B and C.
yeah.
It's
It just depends on
I
where in
definitely
it.
don't think it's a low C or a high B.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in that borderline. I mean, the main problem is there's no structure and no climax or code opening
Hmm.
because of that,
But
and that's the most
yeah,
important parts of
yeah.
the trailer.
But it certainly has style. It has great transitions, the use of the music.
Yeah, the
So like,
editing overall of each clip
hmm,
was solid. They were
yep.
just random in kind of their placement of the clips,
Hmm.
you know,
So,
hence causing the structure issues.
hmm, yeah. I mean, we could really go either way. I think C plus B minus.
I think I'm gonna go B minus.
I guess I'll average it out and go C plus then.
All right.
Yeah. Again, it's not bad, but it's just not. It's not doing enough things wrong to give it a bad grade, but it's not doing enough to kind of wow us into giving us to giving it a higher one.
Yeah, it's barely above average. D is
Yeah.
average. It takes a lot to get above a C, and it takes a lot to get below a C, and then it takes even more to get even farther beyond than that.
Yeah.
So like
So,
it's so hard to get an F or an A.
hmm, so with that said, let's get to the screenshots. And some of these screenshots are, I believe, original, but they're still in the same exact environments as what's been shown in the trailer.
A lot of them are definitely duplicates.
Yeah.
And you don't want to show off the same content twice. But the ones that
Hmm.
aren't duplicates, as far as we can tell, I mean, they may be duplicates and we just don't know it. But the ones that we're assuming are original, the fact is they look the same as everything else, so they don't look original. So like a first impression would be none of them are original.
Yeah. And as a kind of a nitpick from me, when you're kind of organizing your screenshots, try to make it so the character is not in the exact same position when you're going from one screenshot to the next. Like, you'll get number 9 and number 10, she's just like perfectly in that spot. Like, if you would like just move these around just a little bit, because it always looks very weird when indie developers do that. And like some of the lesser games we've seen, it's just literally the character standing in the exact same spot for 8 different screenshots.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to game development and, centering the centering the camera on the player. So, like, but some
I
games
mean,
have, like, kind of a rubber band that it'll, let you go outside of that range, and then the camera will kind of rubber band back to you. Excuse me.
oh, bless you. Yeah.
Sonic did that to where,
Mm-hmm.
they would let you go forward in the camera kind of thing, which had the ill effect of you wasn't able to see that far ahead of you and react.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely gave you that feel of incredible speed
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Just like show the character, just like keep an eye on like what the character is, like their position from screenshot to screenshot. Because you could have just literally moved like number 10 to number 7, and that would have solved this issue for me.
Yeah,
So the screenshots themselves, the problem with this is that while they're certainly good screenshots, the majority of them were in the trailer. Now,
hmm
number 8 was definitely not in the trailer because they didn't show this dog, but they did show something similar, you running in and rescuing someone.
hmm
So, for the grade of this one, the thing is with the images that it's very easy to get really poor or really good grades for this section.
yeah.
And
This
I
is
mean,
I'm going to have to the screenshot grade definitely has a tendency to swing one way or the other very very easily.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to go with a D minus.
I'll go with a solid D for it because it's showing good things. It's just showing good things that were already shown before.
Yeah,
Yeah. And again, it's not hard to fix this.
yeah. Just take screenshots on different parts of your game. You know,
Yep. So let's get to the title card.
I mean about this game page.
Or yeah, about this game. So we have. I like this the emblem here that they use the hack and slash rescue. Like I
Yeah,
feel like that could have been shown on the title card. Was it shown at the end of the trailer? Let's see. Yeah, it was shown there. Like I feel like that could have been a nice thing to fit on the title card somehow,
on the title card.
or on the thumbnail. So I'm confusing title and thumbnail because they're both very similar in name. But yeah, like I would have liked this to be shown more because I think it's a really stylistic element to it that we don't see on other games.
Yeah. The issue is I think it's just way too big of an image.
Yeah.
What I would like to
So.
see is like a smaller version of this hack and splash, emblem
Hmm.
on one side or both sides of the font, and then just cut
Hmm.
it down to the size of the font.
Yeah. So the about this game page, I mean, it's showing off gifts. It has structure to it, but it's still not showing new things. Maybe we could maybe count, the little gif of the people reacting over here.
Yeah, but that's not really adding anything.
Yeah.
It's
And it
different, but
has
it's
that
not adding anything.
same problem as Loopmancer. You're telling me it's procedurally generated, but I'm not seeing that.
Yep.
Show me like a picture in picture. Even just show me like images, like, a before and
Just
after, or, loop
slideshow.
1 versus loop 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Just show me something to convey that there's a difference.
Yeah. And right now it's just, here's you jumping with a fire hose. I mean, if the title of this said fire hose
Hmm.
jumping, then this would be a great GIF for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like to rebuild the firehouse, like it's a really nice establishing shot as you're moving from like 3 rooms around.
Yeah, and it's
But
showing the firehouse, but it's
yeah,
not showing you rebuilding it.
yeah. And they showed a scene in the trailer of the firehouse getting updated. And like that or something similar to that in GIF form would have worked there.
Yep. But
It
you
is,
again don't want to repeat unless
yeah,
you have to. Which that might be
yeah,
one that we'd accept as a have to.
Yeah, the 35-second mark in the trailer when they show it kind of, decrepit, and then it's now fixed.
35, you said?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So the thing about this one is that it's telling me about this game, but I'm still not
It's not
seeing
showing.
anything new. Yeah.
It's not
And like
showing. It's not doing anything new.
it's better than Loopmancer, definitely.
Yeah.
But grade wise, it just feels just perfectly average to me.
Yeah, it feels average. Like, we've looked at pages that were, that we've given a C that had no GIFs or anything. They looked like worse pages,
But they had
but
better
they weren't.
structure.
They had
Yeah.
better structure. They had better details. They, you
Hmm.
know, everything was put together good over there. They just didn't have any cosmetically good things. This one has the cosmetically good things, but all the cosmetically good things basically falls on deaf ears, and there's a
I would have,
lack of, the structure is not as good as those that were.
yeah, I would have liked to have seen a GIF or like enemy designs. Like, show me
Are
like
there enemies?
different. Yeah, like in the opening of the trailer, they show like this like sentient fire moving around. So like, I would like to see more
Where at?
at right at the beginning. You see like this fire running around or like hitting something and then exploding. Yeah, so there are quote unquote enemies in this game. Show me that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. And that tells you that the trailer's not doing a good job. Ever the store page is not doing a good job because I didn't even realize that myself.
Yeah. So grade wise, I think to me this is the it's not bad C that it gets from me.
Everything is not bad though, no matter what grade you give
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
The F's not bad.
Yeah.
The A is
It
not
gets the
bad.
gentleman C. Like it's there.
Yeah,
It's okay, but it's not horrible, but it's not amazing.
yeah. If from first impressions, like if I were to look at this and not look at it in detail, I would say this was probably a B or A kind of page. But like, yeah, it is a C. It looks like it would be better because it's got all the gifs and whatnot,
Yeah.
but
But
it's not.
let's take a look at this title card because yeah, we got some problems here.
Oh yeah,
So
lots of
we
problems
have
here.
one tag,
Yep. At
and
least it's
it's a
a
good
meaningful
tag.
tag.
But again, single player, indie, a platformer, maybe 2D. It
I don't
you
think
are
2D would
leaving.
appear on here.
I think I saw it.
I don't. You may have seen it, but I don't think it actually appears on here.
Hmm. Yeah, but you are leaving a lot of meat on the table or meat on the bone here in terms of not having this additional genre tag.
Mm-hmm.
So we checked out the website. Again, it's just okay. And
There's
there
nothing
is
else.
a link to the Twitter, but there's no Twitter listed here, and that's a huge red flag.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter if they didn't have a Twitter or if they do have a Twitter because according to their Steam page, they do not have a Twitter, and that's
Or
what matters.
Discord.
Yep, or Discord. And
Mhm.
you have to have some kind of social media, and you have to have a Discord server, and you have to have them both in your title card.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't have them.
Yep. Because people aren't going to want to hunt around to get in touch with you. I had to do that to find the developers of Monolith. And like Monolith is a good example of a game that is amazing to play, but a very lackluster store page. And that's not what you want.
Nope.
And like with this one, they do have a press kit on the website, but unless you are really going to look into this game, you're not going to find it. Because you want this information to be as easy to access as possible.
Yeah, because if it's not easy,
Most people
then
aren't going
most
to do it.
people are not going to access it
Yep.
because
So,
we live in a culture now where Easy is king.
Hmm.
And if your stuff isn't
So,
easy to, if you're not promoting yourself easily, for them to easily, follow you, then you're not doing a good job.
yep. So there's not a lot to say about this, which also really impacts the grade.
Yeah, there's
It
nothing
does,
here but a one tag, pretty much.
yep. And the one tag is good, but it's not enough to, you know, bump this up to a high grade.
Yeah, this is a easy F. And
Yep.
I would
I mean,
say it's a solid F. It's not an F minus, not an F plus. And the
mhm.
one thing that is saving it from being an F minus is the fact that
Is
it's an
the
action tag. If they
yep,
had single player in indie instead of action, F
F
minus.
minus. Yep. If it had everything, maybe D plus.
No, if it had all three, if it had single player and multiplayer, or single player and
Hmm.
indie on here,
Hmm.
that would still not be a D. That I think that would be an F plus, D minus.
Yeah, I think it would at least bump up into the D range. But again, it's missing the other half of this. It needs Twitter. It needs contact
Or
information. It
some
needs
other kind of platform like Facebook or
mhm,
Instagram or
Twitch, whatever.
OnlyFans or Only
Yeah.
Sharks.
Mhm. So let's get to the overall grade. So the highest grade that we gave this, I think for both of us, would have been the thumbnail. The trailer, I gave it
Well, the
a C.
trailer's a core grade, so the
Hmm.
trailer I gave it a B minus, you gave it a C
Hmm.
plus. The thumbnail for me was a B minus, so that's just going to hold it.
Hmm.
And the thumbnail for you was a B, so that's going to raise yours.
Hmm. But then the screenshots, we gave that a D.
I gave it a D minus, you gave it a D, so it's definitely
Yeah.
going to lower for both of us.
Yeah.
The about this game page we both gave it a
Solid
C,
C.
which is going lower for both of us.
Hmm.
The title card also both gave it an F, so it's going lower for both of us. So the only thing that's raising here is the thumbnail, but that's only for Josh's side because my thumbnail just holds it where I have it.
Yeah. So, like, for me, like, I think the page overall is going to dip.
Yeah, it's
It could,
definitely going to dip because you know everything on my side holds or goes
mhm,
down.
yeah.
On your side the thumbnail brings it up, but everything else brings it down.
Hmm. So, I think for me, like, overall, like, I give it a C plus as a trailer. I'm thinking like C minus C, like in that middle point for me.
Yeah, it brings yours down by two. I'm going down by two as well, from a B minus to a C. Yeah,
Yeah,
so we both brung it down by two.
yeah. I
And it's
feel like
sad because the
I
trailer. Well, luckily for them, the trailer is their best part of this because the trailer is the most important part.
yeah. I feel like again it's like right on that line of C minus C for me. Like with a lot of this, like it wouldn't take I think a lot for the store page to get bumped up in terms of its grades.
Yeah.
But I think with that we are over our hour for sure for this one. So I think we can begin to wrap things up. Anything else you want to say about Firegirl?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah. Again, two very interesting games this week that we thought would score higher at first glance, but we just found, again, one issue after another.
Yep. One issue begat another issue.
Mhm.
And that's what you often see is this chain kind of weeding
Yeah.
between them, because either their knowledge on marketing is good and they're going to do good on most things, or it's bad and they're going to do bad on most things, or
And
it's
we just
average and they're
see
going to do average on everything. And
either it keeps going up or it keeps going down.
yeah, rarely do you see a vast change between scores, but sometimes you see that because sometimes they outsource stuff.
Hmm.
They outsource one part of it, and like they outsource a trailer, and their trailer grade may be very very different than everything else.
Yeah. But again, if you want us to take a look at your store page, get in touch. We'll see if you can get that magical A plus. Because I don't think we've given his store page an overall A plus yet.
I think we might have given one store page an A plus.
Yeah.
I think we gave one an A plus, two regular A's.
Lots of B's.
I think we've given three an A minus, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
four. We've given, I don't know, probably a few hundred B pluses.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not a few hundred, probably like, I don't know, 40 B
Mm-hmm.
pluses. We probably gave like 50, 60 B's.
Yeah. But yeah, who will join in the Hall of A's? Oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. Thank you.
But
And
yeah,
who will help me
if
with my
you
allergies?
if you enjoyed the show, definitely be sure to click the smash button and smash the like button on both Josh's channel and my channel. It's a dual stream. So links to both Josh's and I's YouTube channels, Josh's and I Discord, and all other kinds of stuff is down in the description. So make sure you go down there and check that out, and subscribe to both of us.
And again, if you want to submit a show or submit a game for a future show, please reach out. Again, we're on Twitter, send a message, send it to us on Discord, whatever. We're always looking for submissions. If you want to catch these shows live, we do them Mondays at 4 ET. And if you want to catch our game design show, the Safely Extreme podcast, those are Sundays at 4 ET as well. So I think that's going to do it.
Yep.
With everything said, come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games. And until next time, take care.
See ya.